My name is Phil Paolella. I am a software developer, and I believe this is the last self-help course you will ever need.
Hey, welcome everyone to this webinar, which is an overview of the Self-Coaching Masters course, a course designed to eliminate procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear in you so that you can remove any personal or professional block that you might encounter along the way. The course today is designed as an overview of the secrets that I have learned over the years and have consolidated, and that most coaches do not want you to know so that you can stay with them as a client. Now, the goal today is to get you to, with clarity, understand some of the information and actually be able to utilize it when we're done with this webinar. That's the key secret here. And so for this webinar, we will not be doing a whiteboard with arrows and lines and different things for you to write down and try to keep track of. We will not be throwing fireballs at you and people walking up the ladder of success with briefcases with money in it. That is not what this webinar is about. It will be short and concise. It will not be an hour and a half with all these pattern interrupts in there to get you to constantly pay attention. This webinar is designed to be direct and clear so that you can take away hopefully bits of information from each of the 5 segments and use them after the webinar is done. Because this webinar involves removing stress, anxiety, we need to not be driving a car, working in the kitchen, talking to the dogs, walking around, being in the city with a headphone on. You need to be in a chair, comfortably relaxed. Because in order to get rid of stress and anxiety, you have to be relaxed. And in order to do that, we have to know some techniques to do that. So if you are doing any of those things other than sitting in a chair or laying down on a couch, totally relaxed without any other sounds around you, this webinar is not for you today. I would love for you to stay, but you will not get the full effect and you will not be able to utilize any of the things that you're going to learn today in this webinar in order for you to follow what I need to say. You need to be relaxed sitting in a chair or on a couch, devoid of all sound. And so once you are settled and relaxed and stress-free, you'll be able to take this information in with clarity, and you will find you will be able to use it immediately after this webinar. You'll be able to put it into action. And that's my main goal for today. So with that being said, let's begin the webinar.
Once again, congratulations for making the decision to empower yourself to take a look at self-coaching to eliminate procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear. And just remember, you need to not be driving or doing any activity physical. You need to be sitting in a chair, relaxing, because of the type of work we're going to be doing and the attention you need to put to it. So in today's presentation, I'm going to give you an aerial view. I'm going to show you how I've taught people and continue to teach people to break through any personal or professional block. I want you to know a little bit about me and my background, but before I get to that, I want to do something I just thought of that I do at workshops, seminars, private clients, what have you. And it takes just a few seconds, and I know you'll appreciate the value in this once you do it. Again, make sure you're not driving, cooking, heavy equipment, any of that stuff, and you're sitting in a chair relaxed. And I'd like you to take a nice deep breath and exhale. And I'd like you to put your hands on your lap. Just put your hands on your knees, on your lap, palms down, and just follow my lead. Just relax. It's going to take a few seconds. No big deal. Take a deep breath and exhale. And now what I would like you to do is raise your hands up over your head as high as you can. Now higher. So if you're like 99.9% of the people that I've helped, your hands went higher when I said higher. And you have to ask yourself, why is it I didn't go as high as I could the first time? Well, this is just one of the things we'll be exploring, and we'll expose the truth behind that, which will help you to develop the tools you need to self-coach yourself. Simply put, without going into detail, the reason you didn't go as high as you could the first time was your conscious mind has limitations. But your subconscious mind always knows what's best for you. You just need to tap into it and point it in the right direction. And it took that direction from me. But there's going to come a time when you learn to self-coach yourself where the direction is going to come from you. Your subconscious mind knew it could do it. So as you sit there, be aware that the Self-Coaching Master skill set teaches you to access what's behind this process. So you can harness it, call upon it whenever you need to, utilize it, foster a mindset of strength, of growth. And of course, that's something that would make sense to you. My name is Joe DiFrancesco, innovator of Self-Coaching Masters, and I've been in personal development, self-help field for over 27 years. Some of my clients that have broken through their blocks and continue to do so on their own without procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear include people from all walks of life. Tech companies, investment managers, teachers, nurses, hedge fund owners, business owners, employees, moms, dads. Well, you've read some of the testimonials, I hope. So actually, people from all walks of life. You may not know this, but there is a huge misconception about self-coaching as a learnable skill set and tool to break your personal or professional blocks without any procrastination, stress, anxiety, or fear. And today I'm going to share an overview with you of why you do not need weekly one-on-one coaching calls for a year or more to have the breakthrough you desire with these blocks. How I was able to have my breakthroughs without procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear is a process. And I will walk you through that process. And I promise you, if you stick with me to the end, the clouds will clear up and you'll have an aha moment, maybe even two. It's not as complicated as you think. First, I'll show you how I discovered the secrets of why. You do not need long-term coaching to get your personal breakthroughs that you desire. You will grow when you make these breakthroughs. Next, I'm going to share with you a few secrets you can use to achieve the self-coaching results you will want for success, some of which you might be able to use right after this webinar. Stay with me. It's going to be an eye-opener because these secrets are what most coaches do not want you to know. Let me repeat that. These simple secrets are what most coaches do not want you to know. And even though they know the secrets, they don't know how to implement them in a format that's teachable. So before I get into the nitty-gritty details, I want to share with you how I discovered this method. Actually, the method was discovered by me, on me, for me. I came to realize all the same skills I used to self-coach myself could be broken down and taught. After all, if I could do it, you could do it, anyone can do it. It's just a matter of learning the tools, how to utilize them, and doing it. So, after condensing 27 years into a teachable format and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, I began to use it on some of my clients with their permission. Suddenly, we were noticing client success rates within a few months rather than 12 to 16 or 18 months. And eventually, I even condensed these methods down even more into 5 accurate, clear, concise skill sets. The 5 techniques that are now the core of my coaching. The tools that truly allow you to remove stress, anxiety, fear, and procrastination and grow exponentially. The tools that give you true self-help. And it's not to say that coaching isn't a viable tool. It is. But as my clients have learned, and my opinion is, most blocks can be truly self-helped. I believe and have proven that weekly one-on-one coaching calls for a year or more are not necessary to remove procrastination, anxiety, stress, or fear. That which allows you to move successfully forward. This old model of coaching one-on-one for a year or more subjects you to constraints such as perhaps finances on a weekly basis, problems with time, your mood, your emotion, coach-client compatibility, how well you do or don't do, your time frame. But with self-coaching, none of these issues exist. You are on your own schedule, in your own time, in your own place. I mean, does that make sense? So at this point, I'd like to dive into the first secret. Secret number 1, mindset, or as I like to say, mind reset. Why mindset? Because a mindset that is fixed really can't move forward. But one of growth allows you to move rapidly. You can always reset your mind to have focus and clarity as to why you do or don't do things. It's just that most people think in a negative. And we're going to teach you and show you how to think more in the positive. The things that you need to eliminate first when removing a block are procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear. Removing these things sets you on a clear path to your why, to your destination, to your purpose. You see, if you are not clear on your why, you will never see what you really want or need. Or for that matter, the path on even how to get there. So just by attending today, I can tell you're developing a mindset of growth and you want to expand that. And now, usually if I'm doing a live webinar, the question comes up, so how do I clear my mind of procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear? Well, actually, that takes us to secret number 2. And secret number 2 is mindfulness. Now, there's a lot of chatter and talk about mindfulness teachers, mindfulness courses, mindfulness classes, mindfulness apps. But I do want you to recognize that within my 27 years of mindfulness, which leads to imagery, mindfulness so you can recognize and acknowledge yourself and accept your true present state. That is why you need to be mindful. It's so you can recognize and acknowledge and accept your true and present state. To make that state free from self-judgment or any judgment is the core of being mindful. Because when you are not judged and you do not judge yourself, your mind is free to find a creative solution and take action. See, it's that judgment that stifles your creative thinking, your path to motivation. So, I think what we should do here is just take a few seconds and understand what mindfulness is by doing it. It's no more than a minute. And again, you need to be seated where you are and no noise and all that and no other activity. And what I'd like you to do is just for a moment, close your eyes. Just close them down. And I'd like you to put a smile on your face. Yes, put a smile on your face. Think of a joke. Think of a loved one. Think of a pet that brings you joy, a vacation, anything funny that happened. Come on, just do it. Put a smile on your face. And just hold it there for a while and just keep thinking of that pet, loved one, joke, whatever it might be that happened. And keep that smile there for a moment. Fantastic. Now that took less than a minute. But you dissolved all the questions that were in your head while you were listening to me talk previously. Is this course going to be for me? Can I actually do this? Am I able to do this? All the questions that breed stress and anxiety. You see, because the things that we're going to be learning in Self-Coaching Masters in the course are adapted, adjusted, and well placed in every human being. We just need to get to them. Everyone has these same qualities. So for a moment there, everything disappeared and you were present in the here and now, thinking about that, smiling, and you did it. You were free of judgment. And it felt good. Now, you can take this mindfulness to longer periods of time, longer stretches of time, and eventually it'll lead to relaxation and imagery, which we'll get into later. But the key here is to understand that these are qualities that everyone possesses, and we're just going to be tapping into them. That takes us to secret number 3, motivation. You may say, why motivation? Well, you need to do. Motivation is so you can automatically want and move forward with clarity and focus, minus, again, procrastination, stress, anxiety, and fear, which you held on to when you were being judged, because it raises negative questions, and negative questions evoke negative answers. And we're going to teach you how to place positive questions to get positive answers. Because once the debris in your mind is removed and action is taken, that action becomes a desire to act more, creating even more motivation and on the cycle continues. You know, I guess it's like cleaning the gunk from the engine of your car. But once you do that, you find your car runs smoother, evenly, for longer periods of time, less resistance, better, faster. And this is the way your mind works. I mean, does that make sense? Of course. I just hang in there with me for a bit. I'm going to try to guess your next question. It might be, well, great to be motivated, but how do I do that? And that brings us to secret number 4. And secret number 4, which has no mystery to it, but people think it does, is meditation, visualization, guided imagery, kind of like Shakespeare arose by any other name. All of these things are synonymous with themselves. And why do we need this? Well, we need meditation, visualization, and guided imagery so we can tap into the all-powerful subconscious, the power that creates the state you need to move on autopilot. See, your conscious mind throws you all kinds of curveballs and can only deal with maybe 6 or 7 things at one time, where your subconscious mind, once it's on automatic pilot and that definitive answer and goal is placed in there, it finds a way to search around and get it. It's kind of like a computer looking for an answer. So the power that creates the state you need to move on autopilot is visualization, guided imagery. You can move forward with a clarity of goal because it's kind of in the back of your head, as they say, and that's what drives you. You won't have any stress, anxiety, fear. You won't procrastinate. You'll be driven. You can clearly see yourself at your desired goal. Now, I've taught countless people this tool. And you don't need to be a Buddhist monk to meditate this way. I'm not talking about that kind of meditation with chanting and smoke and all that. I'm talking about relaxing your mind to a point so you have clarity of mind and purpose, and you are goal-driven, and you're on automatic pilot. I will help you develop those tools. And as I'm speaking, I think maybe we should do this by example. For those of you who have never had a guided imagery or meditation, it's only going to take a few minutes. And even if you've never had the experience, like I said, of guided imagery, after you experience it, after everyone experiences it, it's what people want to do over and over again. They find their state of mind is completely altered and changed for the better. So let's just do this. Let's just do a practice one. And basically, we're going to go on a journey of relaxation, thought, introspectiveness, where you can accept or reject any aspect of what it is I'm going to say, if it does or doesn't work for you. Because really, I'm just acting as a guide. I'm a pilot on the ship, and you're the ship. Your ship has to take us there, but the pilot guides you there. That's the journey we're going to take, and I guarantee you're going to love it. So as you sit there, let's maybe just start. Just a reminder, you're sitting there comfortably. I would like you to have your eyes closed, hopefully noise-free. I'll give you some time to get comfortable again. And with your eyes closed, I'd like you to take a deep breath and exhale. And another deep breath and exhale. And remember, this is just a journey into relaxation with some ideas that you could accept or reject, whatever is best for you. I want you to feel the stress going out of your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, like a total wave of relaxation where your shoulders slump down, your jaw drops, every muscle in your body starts to sink down deeper. You find yourself breathing easier, slower. You can even feel how much more relaxed you are, kind of like a wet, limp dish rag. If you hold a wet dish rag up, that's kind of like how your body feels, almost like right before you're ready to fall asleep. But you won't fall asleep. You'll just be totally relaxed, listening to the sound of my voice, guiding you through this imagery that you could accept or reject. And so I would like you to ask yourself, though, if you have been putting certain labels on yourself. Because if you have, labels can be harmful. Maybe you've been labeling yourself like a bottle. You see, the thing with labeling is that sometimes we tend to believe in that which is labeled. We take for granted that the label is what the contents are. We tend to think or believe we are who we label ourselves to be. Most people tend to relabel themselves with the same label over and over and over with all different types of incidents that happen in their life. The same label. And then they kind of feel like they have to live up to that label. Now, I'm not saying you have done that, but maybe in the past you have labeled yourself lacking confidence, incapable, procrastinator, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, fearful at every turn, stifles me, I can't learn, I can't catch a break. Maybe you've accepted those labels as true because you've said it so many times and placed them on yourself, they're kind of stuck there. Because once the suggestion is given and repeated, this is when most people begin to act like their label. It becomes a belief. But think about this though. All these are just labels that may or may not be you, really. So let's look at why they may or may not be you. Let's kind of look at an example. An example would be, let's say you had a bottle of penicillin right next to you. And you picked it up and you looked at it and you know it's perfectly good penicillin because you just got it from the pharmacy. But you decided to take one of those skull and crossbone labels because you didn't want anybody to take your penicillin. And you stuck it on there and it says, do not take poison. Skull and crossbones on there. Picture of that. Danger. That's the label you stuck on this perfectly good penicillin. And even though that penicillin is 100% perfect and can fight infections, with that poison label on it, no one is going to dare touch it. No one. Because of the label that's on it. But that penicillin might have helped someone get rid of an infection. I don't know, maybe even save a life for all I know. But because it was mislabeled, no one is going to touch it. So I think you're starting to get the idea. The contents of the bottle is what's important, not the mislabeling. Let me say that again. It's the contents of the bottle that's important, not the mislabeling. And I know that makes sense to you. So think about this now. How do you label yourself? Do your actions correspond with that labeling? Are you allowing your conscious mind to play the label game trick on you? Even labels by others that place on you constantly. He's got a bad temper, you're too sensitive, he's too aggressive, she's stressed out, she's anxious, he's a huge procrastinator, never can get anything done, never sees anything through. Whatever it is, I want you to consider that that label is not the same as the contents. Because if you took penicillin from the mislabeled bottle, you'd be fine. So consider your label may be a mislabel. It's just because you can't see clear. But that label that's mislabeled is very clear to you. So we need to relabel. And that mislabel can harm you if in fact you believe it. Does that make sense? Someone once said, they themselves are makers of themselves. It is you who is you. You are who you are, and that's all who you are. But think of who you can be. So did you know that Abraham Lincoln was a huge failure until the age of 50? I mean, Abraham Lincoln was so inadequate when he wrote in his notes that he wouldn't carry he had a big pocket knife. He wouldn't carry it for fear he might even hurt himself. I mean, he was clinically depressed, so to speak. He was a failure in business. That's a fact. That's in the history books. And he wrote that he was not capable of doing anything right. I mean, is this the Lincoln we remember? Our Lincoln? I don't think so. Somewhere along the line, he ripped that label off and relabeled himself. Once his mind focused on the greater good, he knew and became who he really was. He had a clear picture. He knew his why. The failure inadequate Lincoln disappeared. The newly relabeled Lincoln appeared and became the most revered president of our time, even at the age of 50. The rest is history. Let's go back in time further. Michelangelo was 30 when he started to paint the Sistine Chapel. You say, well, 30, that's not old. But in those days, that was. So why, what was the problem with Michelangelo? Well, For years he wrote in his journals that he felt he had self-imposed fear that he was too old to try to accomplish the Sistine Chapel. Imagine that, 30, too old. He believed he lost his artistic talent. He was past his prime. You see, the point here is perhaps the label you self-impose or someone else is a wrong label for you. Perhaps you might want to just take that label off, the one that holds you back, the one that doesn't allow you to aspire to be who you can be, who you were meant to be, and who you really are. I think you should just grab that label, if you have one, that isn't the real you, and rip it off now. If it doesn't serve your greater being, just take it off. It's that simple. Just grab it and tear it off. It's not stuck on. It's just a simple little label. And relabel yourself. And if you see the label isn't coming off, just put your new label over it. Hide it. Cover it up. It's gone. The new label is you. The contents are the bottle is you. And even if you don't believe it right now, this instant, this moment, by relabeling yourself in a positive manner, you'll begin to believe it eventually. Because in reality, that is the real you. And it becomes the new you, outwardly. So just do it now. Go ahead, do it. Relabel the new you. You'll be amazed at the outcome in the short and long term. Just relabel the new you. Relabel yourself. Imaginative, creative, non-stress, no procrastination, no fear, motivated, skillful, artistic, loved. Just put the label on. It takes no time to do it. And remember what it is. Because your vision is the promise of what and who you will someday become. Just accept it and know that it can be realized. Anything that anyone else can do, you can do. Subconsciously and consciously. Moving forward. As time goes on, you just keep re-examining your positive labels and you just keep adding and changing. Most great men and women keep themselves on course this way. It allows you to establish new goals and to examine the reason why you do or don't do things. Now, let's take a moment here and change any label that doesn't benefit you in any way and replace it with the one that does. Again, perhaps self-confidence, self-reliant, capable, motivated, goal-oriented, relaxed, clarity of thought and goal and purpose. Whatever works for your benefit, just do it. Always learning and growing, moving forward. Put that new label on. Just see yourself as you want to be, who you will be, who you choose to be. And take a moment to see how your guided imagery makes you feel. You know, most every successful person I've met uses this tool in one form or another as their ultimate weapon to overcome their blocks. Ask any athlete. They have a clear mental picture that puts them on autopilot. They see the end result. It's a clear picture to them from beginning to end, maybe even no middle. They see the outcome. They believe the outcome. You know, they're in the zone moments. Well, you too can create your own in the zone moments whenever you want. You could create one right now. Do it. Picture yourself in the near future with the career you want, the relationship you want, the attitude you want, what you deserve. Just picture it for a moment. Fantastic. Fantastic job. And so now let's go from imagery backwards to mindfulness, and let's be present. Let's open our eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale with our eyes open. And we just have one more skill set to go through. And all these skills that we've talked about takes us to the last one. Secret number 5, mastery. So you know how to use every tool by the time you get to mastery. And if you don't, mastery is so you can use every tool you have acquired with confidence to remove the blocks you have at any given time. You can create the clear and desired outcome you so deserve. Mastery allows you to constantly adjust, reevaluate, sharpen your skills each time a challenge presents itself. Mastery allows you to plan, adapt, grow more effortlessly. Mastery allows you to rework all of your skill sets. And it is in these changes and that growth that fuels even more mastery, because you become more motivated. It is really about the true self-help. The beauty of mastery is true self-help. You're constantly working on yourself to better yourself and master your own skills. And so while this was just a kind of a bird's eye view and an overview, an aerial view, however you want to look at it, I'd like to recap. So the secrets that I've developed are the contents of mindset. And why mindset again? Simply put, to gain clarity before you act so you can grow well beyond your current limiting beliefs. Mindfulness. Why mindfulness? To be judgment-free. To have a clear path ahead of you. Motivation. Why? To keep moving ahead in a positive direction. Almost on autopilot, so to speak. Wanting to grow. Meditation, visualization, guided imagery, whatever you choose to call it, so that you become goal-oriented, to access and utilize the most powerful tool you have, your subconscious. And finally, mastery, so you can continually develop along with the skills you've learned to reach a higher level of understanding of yourself, which is really true self-help. And those are the 5 secrets. And contained in all of those is the secret to you helping yourself. Now, just as a reminder, the actual course is these 5 modules: mindset, mindfulness, motivation, meditation, mastery. But it is an 8-week coaching course, one-on-one, with each week helping you develop even further and understanding the course itself and working your way through the course and the homework assignments. I am not here to tell you this is a magic bullet. You will have to do some work. You have to work on yourself as much as I work on you. I guarantee you I'll give you 100%, but you have to give me 100% back. It is your life. You have to spend more time on your planning your life than you do a summer vacation. So the course is 8 weeks. The first 3 weeks is you and I one-on-one, getting to know each other, exploring, figuring out your course of action. Then we dig deeper and we get into the course, train you and teach you how to do everything in the course on top of anything else we might want to go through. We also have a weekly group Q&A session. Mind you, there aren't that many people in our group because I only take X amount of clients a month, because everyone needs my undivided attention and I can't do that with too many clients. So I limit my client group. You'll also have access to the Facebook group where you can chat, Q&A, get different ideas from different people. And of course, there's always an email or 2 that I can answer. And so I guess the question is, let me ask you, if you had a choice between doing this on your own without any guidance or someone who can help you, who has done this time and time and time and time again, to help you, teach you, guide you, and work with you on a personal level, to be able to coach yourself through any block, to get the results you desire, which would you choose? So go to SelfCoachingMasters.com. That's www.selfcoachingmasters.com for more detailed information on what is included in our course. See you on the other side.